For Russia, just of course they are. But well worth reiterating that goal difference is the first determining factor between teams tied on points in the group. So very, very significant that they've won so well. And Slaven, for your Muscovite friends, a few glasses of celebratory vodka tonight, I think.
Yeah, but it's good, you know, for the host. Every big tournament, you need a host to be long enough in a tournament because without host, the buzz and everything, the passion goes down a little bit. So it's brilliant for Russians, but it's also brilliant for the tournament. Yeah. Definitely, they done well. They done well.
Yeah,
I know.
3 out of the 5 goals from the subs as well.
Yeah.
Juba comes on, played against Gary when he was with England a couple of years ago, and scores after 89 seconds.
Yeah, and this just shows Saudi's poor defending. They just go asleep. The basics, they don't know what they're doing. Marked up at a throw-in, and then they just wander. They go to sleep. And Golovan's got, look at all the space, edge of the box, picks his head up, and Juba just does a little move righty, doesn't he?
Well, he doesn't need to do much, really. You see he's the only one in the box. He does a little move that, because the space is obviously in front of him, and the defender's just totally balled it. He hasn't touched him. The ball's not brilliant, and he's just in the middle of the goal. It's so easy.
Yeah, yeah, you're right.
Look at this. Look.
Every Russian goal,
great header, by the way.
Russian goal looks easy. Maybe the reason is that we talk about that 17 out of 23 Saudi Arabian players, they come from the top 2 clubs. In their league, I don't know the league, but probably those 2 clubs, they don't defend a lot. They're always attacking, they're always with the ball and all that. That's why Russian goals looked easy, and that's why their defensive transition from Saudi Arabia were awful.
I said before the game about teams, usually when they've worked for 3 or 4 weeks, they're so well prepared, but you'd have to go a long way to find a team more disorganised once they conceded the first goal in Saudi Arabia.
Yep, and somebody you know well, because you had him, as we said, at half-time at Valencia, Cheryshev, he's a perpetual motion, isn't he, up and down that left-hand side?
Wonderful energy, and today, look, World Cups never go how you plan. He's on the bench, he comes off the bench, and all of a sudden he's a star, and he just joins the attack. He's up and down. You'd expect him to be at both boxes, defending at one end and then obviously picking up pieces at the back. It's a great counter-attack. Saudi Arabia are all over the place, but the touch here is wonderful. Shouldn't be underestimated, that quality. Even the second touch to get it out of his feet, and just, you know, there's 3 good touches to finish.
And does that directly lead to this, Gary, in terms of the confidence he's feeling he can attempt this sort of volley?
It's a classic goal where the striker pulls out wide and he comes inside and makes the run inside. The full-back then doesn't know who to mark, and it finishes absolutely all left foot. He's never going to bend that out with his right foot, and he just hits it with the outside of his left. It's wonderful. The goalkeeper for Saudi Arabia, to be honest with you, was poor, but he would never have probably saved that anyway. And now it gives him a real... They lost their best player, Russia. So to have him come on and do what he did was absolutely brilliant for them.
Just set up nicely for him, didn't it, as well?
It did, and it just guided it in really nice. Just guided it over the keeper. Beautiful finish.
And then Golovin with a free kick, which we saw actually during this past season when they came to Arsenal in the Europa League as well.
Yeah, yeah. We are blaming the goalkeeper.
Exactly
we are blaming the goalkeeper, but this is a good free kick. This is come on.
Great dive.
It's a better angle here.
It's a good free kick. It's not completely goalkeeper's fault. Come on. No, it's a good. You have to pray. Every goal you can say it's a mistake.
Seen a goalkeeper literally need starting blocks to get across the box.
The goalkeeper run across his line to try.
Let's be honest. The Russians haven't been tested today, but we can only come. I would also. Somebody said that the bear is roaring. I would rather wait for another game against Egypt or Uruguay or both. But let's be honest. Do they have strikers? The reference point in Smolov and in Juba. Yes, they have. Do they have 3 players behind them? And they lost Jagoev, you said the best player. Yeah. They have Golovin, they have Cheryshev, and they have 2 holding midfielders. One of them scored the goal, and one of them created the second goal. Yeah. So they haven't been tested, but
they will be tested.
But they played against Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
We have to praise them for tonight's performance.
And now they have a level of self-confidence and belief, which they wouldn't have had at the start of the game because they've been so rotten recently. OK, let's get a view from inside the Luzhniki. Jackie Oatley is there with Ryan Giggs and Eni Aluko.
I'll tell you what, Mark, the atmosphere here is a little bit different from the one when you joined us before the game. They weren't really particularly looking forward to the football. They were looking forward more to seeing Robbie Williams. But actually, the football has by far exceeded their expectations, and with a little help from Saudi Arabia, of course. But Eni, as an international striker yourself, what do you make of some of those finishes today?
Yeah, fantastic start from Russia. Great finishes, goals from the subs. But for me, the key player for Russia was Golovin, the young lad who I know has been linked with Arsenal and Chelsea. Just a fantastic player. He started in the 3-5-2 in the first half, was very, very good on the counter-attack in that system. After the injury to Jokev, it changed to a 4-4-2. He went up front, supported Smolov. Just a constant threat to the Saudi Arabian backline. And I said to Ryan just before he took the free kick at the end, I said, I hope he gets a goal, because I think he was a threat all the way through for Russia today. Great young player, and I'm excited to keep watching him through the tournament.
Your tactical view of the game, Ryan?
Yeah, the two teams couldn't be more different. Russia were compact, they were aggressive. When the ball was there to be won, they won it. Saudi Arabia were deep, they were passive, they were slow in their build-up, and fully deserved win for Russia. Everything went for them, and I'm going to pay homage actually to Fernandez, the right back. We've got two right backs in the studio. They don't often get the plaudits, so I'm going to give him the plaudits, because he epitomised everything today. He was on the front foot right from the beginning. In defence he was good, and then ran forward and joined in the attack when every opportunity that he had.
Do you think the Mo Salah will be sitting at home now, desperate to get fit in time to face this Saudi Arabian defence?
Yeah, I mean, Russia have scored 5 today. I can only imagine how Mo Salah is gonna be excited to play against his Saudi Arabian back four, and then Uruguay again with Cavani and Suarez up front. Saudi Arabia, it doesn't look good for them in terms of the goals that they're going to concede. They've got to get better defensively.
The other two favourites to go out this group before this game, do you still see it being that way, or would you give Russia a chance now?
No, you have to give Russia a chance. To score 5 goals, we talked about the pressure that this team was under, not won for 7 games. And to produce a performance like that, they deserve it.
OK, they deserved it. Well, the atmosphere here has got a little bit quieter. They've all gone outside now to celebrate, to wave their flags. I think we're all going to have a good time in Moscow tonight.
What's all this about the right backs getting a write-up then?
Never got any audits in '99 when I was marking him. I know that.
He might want us to pay for the meal later on.
Is that what it is?
That's something I can think.
OK, England get their World Cup campaign underway on Monday against Tunisia. If you want to watch the national side in action this autumn and win a substantial cash prize, have a watch of this. So 3 bits of news for you before we go. That is the biggest win by a host nation in the opening game since Italy in 1934. That's number 1. Mo Salah fit to play for Egypt against Uruguay tomorrow. And Marcus Rashford expected to train tomorrow. So that still puts him in contention for the Tunisia game, you'd have to imagine. Or is it going to be a bit short, maybe?
Yes and no. I mean, obviously, if he's fit and he's training and he says in contention, but I would say if you've been working with your team and you've got a player who's got a slight injury that's just coming back, you wouldn't take the chance, particularly when he's not certain to start anyway. You wouldn't take the risk.
Yeah. OK, this weekend we've talked about Brazil. Argentina, we haven't mentioned them much. They were runners-up 4 years ago, but they didn't have the easiest qualifying campaign. They've been through a few managers, but they've got Messi. What do you think of Argentina?
For me, they're in that group of teams with Croatia, with Portugal, with Belgium, with England. Yeah. If Messi scores, I'm sure they're thinking this way. If Messi scores 5 goals, then we get a chance. And they have Aguero, and they have Higuain, and they have Di Maria. Yeah. Shame for Lanzini that he got injured. But they are one of them. They're one of them. They're bigger.
You still got to look at someone like Otamendi can be got out, and I think Fazio as well at the back.
Fazio plays for Roma. Yeah. Otamendi
but at the
won
same
the
time,
league.
Yeah, I still think that they're good players, but I think that they can get got at without a shadow of a doubt.
Also, English centre backs can get it.
Yeah, why'd you go there? Why'd you go? I knew he was going to do that at some stage.
Yeah, they have.
Spain, Portugal as well, which will be interesting because, of course, of what's happened this week with Lopetegui and Fernando here.
Yeah, I mean, all eyes will be on their performance because that's what they expect, a reaction. I'm sure they'll get one because they're an experienced team. They've got big players in there. They kind of don't need a coach, to be honest with you. I think they can play without one. Portugal, again, all eyes looking at Ronaldo. Can he carry him through again? I don't think it'd be a spectacle from their point of view. They just won't want to lose against Spain. So, but I think Spain have got a really good chance, and I think this might galvanise. They're experienced enough for this to drive them forward. So they're one of those teams that they've just mentioned that are on the edge of pushing Brazil and maybe Germany.
Yeah, great start to the World Cup. Tomorrow, Group B gets underway. We're going to have coverage of Morocco against Iran. That's from 3:30 here on ITV. Slaven will be back with us with Ryan Giggs and Eni Aluko for that one. On Saturday, 2 matches from the very competitive and exciting-looking Group D. Then Argentina, we just mentioned them. Argentina, Iceland, 1:30. and that is followed by Croatia against Nigeria from 7:30. So Slaven very much looking forward to seeing how Croatia and Modric get on against Nigeria. Here then, the Russian Bear definitely roaring this evening. Thanks for being with us. We'll see you tomorrow.